welcome back to B-Side Banter. I'm here again with What's the Buzz? It's been a couple months, I think we were saying, since we've been on, but there has been some huge stuff that has happened, especially in the hip-hop world. I'm pretty sure we were talking on that episode, we were talking about like clips
Yeah.
about to drop, and then all of a sudden clips dropped and so many other like big projects. So excited to have you back on. Welcome
Man.
back to the pod.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, of course. And let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about some of these big albums. We were just talking before, you just were at Freddie Gibbs, so that was another big one that dropped. Yeah, maybe like talk about that, talk about the album, about the live experience.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Gibbs is like he's such a consistent artist, and I've been lucky enough to be on his stuff or onto his stuff for over a decade now. I think when Pinata came out, that was 2014, so
Yeah.
around there. And there's some, I don't know, for some reason in my mind, I always forget that I can go see these artists like live if I really want to. I don't know why. I like gatekeep that out of my mind, or I try to say, oh, tickets are expensive, whatnot. But specifically last year, he dropped You Only Live Twice. That was in October. It helped me out a lot. I had some surgeries last year, and that was like the first album other than Chromacopia to come out when I was recovering. So it was kind of my bounce back album. And then and Alchemist releasing Alfredo II, which was so like that first one was so important during 2020 during those lockdowns, to me at least. And then the tour getting announced, I was like, oh man, I have to check it out. And I went last night in Toronto. Beautiful show, really nice stage setup. It was at the History venue, which is actually owned by Drake. Fun fact, I was supposed to see Schoolboy Q last year at that venue, but due to the Kendrick beef and affiliation with Kendrick Schoolboy has, it got canceled. Like his show got canceled that day before. And I remember Q was like lashing out on Twitter being like, I can't believe like you're banning people basically from performing in your city or in your venue just because you're having issues with someone. That's just like
crazy.
Random thoughts. So this is my first time back since I was supposed to go then. Freddie Gibbs is 44 years old. That man did not miss a single lyric, a single beat, nothing.
Still got it.
Yeah, he's crazy. He also had Mavi as an opener. I'm not too privy with to his stuff, but really solid opener there too. But and Alchemist there too. Just seeing him live is like a kind of like when you realize how rooted in rap he is in modern rap, just like how many careers he's touched throughout the last 30 years. I mean, just the fact that he was like Eminem's DJ for 20 years. Like this guy's really rooted in rap. So just a surreal moment. Great show. And Alfredo too, definitely one of my favorites from this year, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, it's so good. And you brought your like Pinata CD. Did you get it signed?
Hell no, bro. I was nowhere near that guy. Nah, I don't even know how people do that kind of stuff, man. Because I saw another Twitter rap user, is debating hip hop. He was also at the Toronto show and he brought his vinyl, and then he somehow got Alchemist to sign it. See, I'm not really a type of guy to like push to the barricades. I'm not really sitting outside the venue waiting for someone to pop out. I'm too old for that shit. Maybe if I paid someone to do it or something, someone would do it, or like a friend. But no, I just wanted to just kind of like bring it like as a content piece, I guess. It would have been cool though.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think most people, like you said, they like wait. They're like, whether they wait after the show or they're there really early and they wait before the show. But there's so much dedication that goes on.
I've started getting mezzanine tickets to some of these concerts I'm going to just because I want to be separated from the crowd, not because of any specific issue with the crowd, but more so I just want to have my own like air to breathe, because I get sick after every concert I go to, and I'm tired of it. I don't know why. I think my immune system just dies whenever I enter a concert hall.
You can't handle being around that many people.
Maybe I don't know.
One space. Maybe. That's crazy. Yeah, it and the crowd wasn't wild. Like it wasn't like a Ken Carson or like a Summer Sons concert or something. Okay,
very respectful crowd. Very like people were just like in awe to. Oh, sorry. People were just in awe to see Freddie doing what he's doing. Like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. yeah, I thought that that album, wow, Alfredo
Alfredo
II.
II,
I
yeah.
don't know why I was blanking. You just said it. I thought that was like really, really good. And like, of course, you know, everybody's going to compare it to the first one.
Sure.
And yeah, is it going to live up to that? Probably not.
Mhm.
But I thought it was really great. And it still stood out in the midst of like what was it, like 5 or 6 like really, or like at least 4 or 5
Yeah.
releases that were all like really heavy hitters.
I think the
um
gates opened really with that Clips album, and
yeah,
then soon after was Tyler,
yep,
then JID, then
hmm,
the Chance the Rapper album. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
like a month of really solid music.
hmm, yeah, it was really solid. But one thing, we can touch on this before maybe we go through some of the good music, but
Sure.
I have, and maybe I even tell me if this was you as well, but I saw for a couple creators basically saying like, did some of the best rappers release their worst projects in
Mm,
2025?
right.
Did you do
Yeah, I
anything on
did
that?
one of similar to those videos. I was kind of
Yeah.
like a in retrospect because I saw people talking about it, so I was like, let's see if
Yeah.
this is really true. And
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Which is so crazy because there were some like really, really great hip
hmm,
hop records. And then there were also some pretty bad ones. So
yeah,
maybe walk us through some of those since you already did a video on it,
yeah.
I'd love you to walk us through some of those like artists and those albums.
I think for the most part, mainstream trap music kind
Mm,
of hit a little bit
yeah.
of a slow point. I know the year kind of kicked off with Lil Baby album Wham,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I thought was like okay on first listen. I'll be honest, I haven't gone back to it since.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely not capturing. I actually never really thought Lil Baby had that much of magic to capture, but he
Hmm.
didn't capture anything really like long
Yeah.
term on that one. And then
Yeah.
I know it was the Travis Scott Jack Boys 2,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was really atrocious because you have some really, really talented people on that label, like Travis himself and Don Toliver, and you have
Hmm.
and Sheck West and some new signees and whatnot. You would assume, and what's that kid's name? Sofago. Some
Hmm.
pretty interesting artists, but they just don't mesh well. I feel like their styles clash so hard, and they
Yeah.
end up turning into this like homogenized auto-tune trap kind of like
Hmm.
slot that really doesn't like sound at all catchy or interesting or anything like that. And
Yeah.
then kind of cherry on top was the 2 weeks that we had the Young Thug album, the UI
Mm.
Scooty album, and then the Cardi B album, Am I the Drama? Uh,
Yes.
I know Cardi B is less trap specific, but that album, I honestly I've never really been huge into Cardi B's music. I love her features for some reason. I think she brings it on a feature most of the times, but it's just they're not even like necessarily horrible albums. They're just so bland and forgettable and nothing, I guess.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The yeah, all of those, I have listened to once and
Yeah.
never had a thought to ever go back to them
Yeah.
ever again. Do you know much behind the Jack Boys project? Because like to me, it felt like it was like an attempted response to like the Clips album or something. Like, was it
Oh,
rushed or did it just happen to come out at the same time?
I assume it did probably have to do something with that because they did try to put it out, if I remember, before the Clips release date.
Yeah.
Or I guess Travis did specifically because of the "So Be It" song and the diss towards Travis. And I
Hmm.
think they just kind of wanted to mess up their rollout and like drive attention away from them. But you can't really do that with an album that's so subpar that even your biggest fans are like, we're past this. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
honestly, I think it might have excuse me, it might have benefited Clips more because then
Yeah.
their fans,
Seriously. Yeah.
that music was gonna be good regardless. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked out. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that again, like I said, there was the first Jack Boys that came out late 2019, which is kind of like just a teaser, but even that
Hmm.
like 4 or 5 song EP was stronger than this full album of just
Yeah.
bland nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't really know much like behind it, but I wasn't sure if
yeah.
it was like something that was rushed out because they wanted to, yeah, like you said,
I
mess up that
I
rollout.
think
And
so. And they didn't even talk about it after. Like I don't see
yeah,
Travis promoting it still. There wasn't like a Jack Boys tour that was gonna happen. It
Yeah.
really felt like it was just packaged to just put something out to mess up with clips, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think it did anything.
No,
I
not
don't
at
think
all.
it accomplished that.
No, I don't think so.
And yeah, I would say at this point, like I feel like Travis would be like slightly embarrassed to try to promote it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I think artists do recognize when they put something out and like it just doesn't hit, and whether or not they think it's bad or not. But you know if it hits or not, and
Right.
nobody's talking about it except for in a negative sense. So
And that's tough because it's Travis Scott's like arguably top 3 right now most popular artists,
mhm.
and his last album Utopia was generally well received by fans and like critics and all that. So you would assume that like if you're having issues with this guy Pusha T, for example,
Yeah.
you'd put your best artistic foot forward, or at least like respond in some scathing way. No, it's just I don't know what the point of that was. It just deflated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, brutal. Yeah. But I do think it's so funny because to me when I was reflecting on like some of the music that's been released to me, I was looking at mostly all the positives, and so I was like this has been like a really strong year for hip
Yeah.
hop. But then I saw like these videos coming out
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, like, I guess maybe it was, like, a mixed bag."
Mixed bag for sure.
Like,
I think
maybe a mixed bag.
yeah, there was definitely like a lot of projects came out just in general, just a lot of stuff. I know I've missed a bunch too that I need to go back
Mhm.
to. But there's just been a few really bad ones, and then a few really good ones too. So I guess you can
Yeah.
see like both sides. I guess we should
Mhm.
focus on the positives more, but it is
Yeah.
interesting to see how some big names are just dropping their weakest projects.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the one that we didn't mention that's probably, a big name would be Lil Wayne, like, Lil
Oh
Wayne's,
wow.
project. Yeah.
Wow, I blocked that one out of my head. I remember actually when we did the last one, I think I was kind of defending it or something. Nah, man, come on,
Yeah.
I was bugging out. Like, really
Yeah.
I haven't spun that one since basically the first week.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's just so bad, and I saw some footage from the tour. People are like leaving during it because he's performing
Really?
some of like the rock songs from the album, and they're like, "What
Mm.
the hell is this?" I mean, it's fine
Sheesh.
to be genre blending and stuff, but I don't think that's Wayne's strong suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, and, again, he has an decently strong catalog, so to say that's his weakest project doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolute garbage, but
Sure.
it is definitely super forgettable.
Yeah,
It's, like, not
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, let's talk about some of these, great albums that came out. You can see here I've got clips
Yeah,
right in the back. Yeah, like, let's talk about that first because I know you're a huge Pusha T fan, huge Clips
yeah.
fan. So, what was that album to you when it came out?
Man, that was like instant album of the year for me, just based on they did really well with that rollout on that. I know that was like the big conversation topic around this release was the rollout, how well they did, but the
Mhm,
hype was built up, and it's easy to build up hype when you're so confident in the actual music, the project that comes out with it.
mhm.
So I knew, just knowing Pusha T, knowing Malice, knowing the camp that's coming from, knowing that's like it's Rock Nation stamped, like you can think about
Yeah.
Jay-Z, whatever you want to think about, but I'm pretty sure quality is like very important for them.
Mm,
So
mhm.
yeah, that album amazing. The Pharrell production is top tier. It's different. It's very different for Pharrell. You're
Yeah.
used to hearing a lot of bounce in terms of like just like upbeat tempo from Pharrell, especially lately, I think.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
he got in a different bag for Clips, and I was just amazed at how they didn't lose a single step in their chemistry after
Mm,
15, 16 years of not doing music together, I guess. So just
yeah.
yeah, beautiful album.
Yeah. Well, and there was, like, some dialogue I remember before that, like, about how, like, Pharrell is gonna, like, ruin the Clips album because
Yeah.
people were saying, like, he's washed, and I think those same
Come
people
on,
that were
man.
saying that like, trying to, like, stay true to that take, and after it got released, they're like, "Oh, Pharrell was the worst part of it," but, like, I didn't have any issues at all with
No.
anything that he did, but I I I think the only negative kind of, like, discourse that I saw around the album was like Pharrell was holding them back a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if I can see that, but
Right.
maybe. Like,
Yeah.
also, how are you ever gonna know? Like, that's like one of those hypotheticals where it's like you'll never know unless like somebody else produced it. Like,
Well, I think a lot of great albums from hip hop recently, and we mentioned one earlier, like Alfredo. It's the one rap artist and one producer kind of like collab album. So
mhm,
whenever you select one producer for one whole project, you are sort of painting yourself in a creative corner, just
yeah,
because that producer might have only a limited, a range of sounds, of
mhm,
styles. But I think if you're gonna pick one, Pharrell's a pretty damn good pick because he's still
yeah,
pretty versatile with the production. And like I said, I feel like he was trying some new stuff here too that really only like you can only imagine clips on or Pusha T specifically because he's been rapping those types of beats for the last 10 years at least.
mhm,
And these guys grew up together. I mean, they went to like school together. They're from the same part of
yeah,
town, basically. So I could only expect good things from it.
yeah, yeah. That trust that's there and that
Yeah.
relationship is really valuable
Hmm.
for artist and producer relationships. Um, what about the Tyler the Creator album? That one was a surprise drop,
Yeah.
which we got like it was both like Justin Bieber and Tyler decided to surprise drop.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber did it twice, which
Twice.
more is not always better, Justin.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That
uh,
album was more to begin with because it was long, just by
yeah,
itself. So then
yeah,
dropping two is crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. But what did you think of the Tyler the Creator?
I thought Don't Tap the Glass was necessary for Tyler. Actually, at first, I thought it was unnecessary because
Mm,
Chromacopia was such a huge personal kind of like
yeah,
revelation type of album that I honestly thought he was gonna not hang his hat on like for the rest of his career, but let it breathe kind of thing, especially because he
yeah,
was in the middle of this tour that was so emotional. I went to see a show in Toronto as well. I think it was in July, and it was such a heavy show, like the performances and especially near the end of the set list. But Don't Tap the Glass, that he needed that, I guess. He needed that
yeah,
like almost like a reset. The way he's
mhm,
talking about it in interviews felt like he really wasn't overthinking anything, just kind of going for it.
mhm,
Just really wearing his influences on his sleeve, at least in the kind of like dancier, more bright genres that he's
yeah,
not really into too often.
yeah,
So I liked it a lot. I don't think it's nearly one of his best projects personally, but for what it is, it's super fun.
mhm,
Um, yeah. I mean, Tyler's going through a lot right now on Twitter, as I'm seeing. The last few days, he's getting like canceled again for like the 50th time in his career. So I don't know. Maybe this might be his last album for a while. Who
okay.
knows? Yeah.
What's he doing now?
So this the kind of a turn in conversation. So
Yeah,
we had a legend, D'Angelo, pass
yeah,
a couple weeks ago, which was super sad. Rest in peace to D'Angelo. And Tyler posted a kind of like a tribute post on Instagram, I believe. And a
mhm,
lot of his fans who might not be that deep into 90s, 2000s R&B, they're
yeah,
like, who the hell is this guy kind of thing. And Tyler liked some tweets where people were criticizing his white fans, how not knowing much about black culture. And
mhm,
now people are kind of going digging stuff from Tyler's past, basically calling him a hypocrite, where Tyler was saying a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not really gonna point out
yeah,
right
sure,
now.
sure,
That was very touchy and super race related. So now he's
mhm,
kind of going through. I've never seen this much backlash for him since like his earliest days. So
mm,
he's
man,
had an
yeah.
interesting year for sure.
Wow, yeah, that is a I had no idea any of this was going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, when you stay off Twitter, you kind of get to miss this bullshit that happens sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's definitely going on.
Oh man, yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, he might have to go into hiding for a little bit.
yeah. Because
Kind of
he doesn't
take
seem
it
like the
cool.
type of artist to respond. You know what I mean? To like make a
Yeah, yeah,
statement. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't make statements, but he will like go on like he'll be on an interview and like
Oh
address
yeah,
it, but in like a really cheeky way or something like that. That
yeah,
seems to be what he likes to do.
yeah.
Um, yeah, he's definitely not shy. around controversy, but
No.
he probably needs to cool the jets here for a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
think Tyler, he has, I mean, his main gift is his confidence and his
Yeah.
like how brash he is and how he doesn't care about anything. But
Hmm.
it's like a double-edged sword. Like
Yeah,
people can call you
absolutely.
out at one point and be like, you gotta relax sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
Hmm.
Well, I really enjoyed Don't Tap the Glass
Yeah.
as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, I don't know, like I guess I'd be curious about you, but it is an album that I had a lot of fun listening to. I listened to it a few times, but I haven't really revisited it since. Like,
Okay.
is it something that's in your rotation?
A few tracks. I really like
Yeah.
Don't You Worry Baby. I think that song is like an all-timer for Tyler. But for the rest
Mm,
of it, it was mostly just the first few weeks, kind of like
yeah.
summer, I guess, vibe, driving
Yeah.
around kind of anthems, but not as much as you'd expect.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely was like if there was an album of the summer like that fit into summer vibes,
Yeah,
I feel like that was it for
yeah.
sure. It was a lot of fun. Um, and then what about the JID?
But yeah, JID project, God does like ugly. That was an interesting one for me at first. It was during the time where I was kind of away, so I couldn't really dive deep into it. And
Mm,
I feel like JID is an artist where you kind of have to do that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
surprisingly, with this album, I feel like you didn't really have to do that compared to his last project in 2022, which
Mhm,
was way the Forever Story, which was way heavier, way more in depth, and
yeah.
in personal stories and just like commentary, socio-political commentary,
Mhm,
everything. This one was more blunt, which is again something that a lot of artists have been starting to do is just release more off the cuff, less like over analyzing kind of music, similar to Don't Tap the Glass, just in a different font, I guess.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that album. I thought he was picking some great beats. He had some great
yeah.
features on there, specifically the clips feature. That community song is one of the best of the year in my opinion. And I
Mhm,
really like the last song because it what's it called, For Keeps, where he really dives into like his personal life again. I like that part of Jid a lot. I think he's one of the most gifted like storytellers in rap. He
mhm.
can really paint an image super
Yeah,
well. Yeah, I like that
yeah.
album a lot.
Yeah, that I would say that album in terms of, like, albums that I go back to that came out this year,
Hmm.
I go back to that one so much.
Nice.
I think the vibes of it just really fit. I really am, like, enjoy, like you said, his beat selection,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, for whatever reason, I guess just sonically, I really like relate to that record. And then everything else that he does on it is great too. But
Yeah,
I more so relate to projects like from kind of like the musical standpoint sonically.
sure.
And so that one really had me.
It's
Clips
super
as well,
diverse
but
too. Yeah, they're all. I think that's the main thing I look for in an album is have it really diverse
mhm,
sonically, but kind of maintain the strong points of what your the backbone of your music is. And I think
yeah,
he did that really
yeah,
well here. Yeah, even like looking at the track list, like that skate song, for example, with Sierra and
mhm,
Earthgang. That's such a unexpected sound for him,
I know,
but
yeah,
it went off so well. It's one of my
yeah.
favorites from there.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the one that people had the most issue with, right?
Really,
Like,
yeah,
I think it was. And yeah, I thought it was like a breath of fresh air in the
yeah.
album. Like, I think a lot of people were like, didn't like it. It kind of broke it up in a weird way for them. But yeah, I that wasn't the case for me. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I like this. I like this kind of change up.
It's a very not cohesive album, like
Yeah.
sonically. There's
Yeah.
no, I don't think there's a
Hmm.
storyline through it. There's a flow through, but kind of like as a painting is almost like an abstract painting. It works really well.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Kind of like the album
Exactly.
cover.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cover really fits it. It's kind of a chaotic album to me.
yeah.
And maybe that's why I like it is maybe I'm just into chaos right now. I don't know. Were you are you a big Quadeca fan? I can't remember if that
um.
is like your vibe.
Okay, so with Quadeca, I have never gotten into his music like ever. I've been following Quadeca since the fucking like the KSI beef
Mm,
tracks 2016, 7, whatever the hell that
nice. Yeah.
was. I've
Yeah.
been really like happy to see his growth and his evolution. I think
Mhm.
once he um transition to the more artsier what's the album called, from not From Me to You, the one that was after that, the house one, uh you I Will
I'm
Haunt You or something like that.
yeah,
When he
I'm not gonna
transitioned
remember.
to that sound, he kind of lost me a bit. And then
Mm,
with this new project, the Horizon album, I'm like, everyone's gassing it up so much, and I'm sure it's
mm,
amazing. But whenever I press play on it, it's something about it that I can't like fully attach myself with. I'm waiting for it to happen. I have no
mm-hmm,
doubts that it will, but I'm just surprised that something that's this well received and praised isn't clicking
mm-hmm.
with me, because I'm pretty like, I like good things.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like not that hard for me to like understand it, but for this one, for some reason, I don't know. And I want to be a fan of his, like I truly do.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it was another album I think for me that I liked, but it kind of came and went.
Okay.
It's I think it is like it's not an easy listen. Like I don't think it's
That,
like an album that
yeah.
you're gonna like just like pop on. And so it's more of a commitment, I think.
Yeah.
At least for me, at least that's how I view it. I did like it. Haven't really listened to it a whole lot since. It's very ambient, like super
Right.
ambient, like, and I don't know, some people I think have a hard time with that, but I think overall, like you said, it was really well received.
Sure.
And that is, I guess that is what it is. But
Yeah. The
I,
Having someone with such a musical evolution, that's always impressive to see, and that's always really
yeah,
cool to see, because you can see this kid grow up in real time. I'm not sure what his age is, but I swear I remember him as like a child, basically like a teenager,
yeah,
and now he's doing this kind of stuff, which is cool. I had some friends
yeah,
that went to I think his New York show sold out
okay,
like crazy,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely super positive.
Mhm.
Um, is there anything else that kind of has released this year, maybe since we last talked that you were like, "Whoa, this was, like, huge. This was awesome."
I thought I feel like a lot of people didn't agree with it. I thought the Chance the Rapper album was really solid.
Mm,
Saw him in tour and his concert a couple weeks ago as well. Thought that was really good. I
yeah,
don't know. He's like, his life got really complicated at one point after being
yeah,
like, I don't know if you remember, but he was everywhere at one point. He was
yeah,
the
yeah,
favorite. People were calling him like the next Drake and stuff, how popular he
mhm,
was. From
mhm,
Grammys to like hosting shows and all that stuff. He was massive. And then suddenly it instantly kind of fizzled out. But
yeah,
he's like a really incredible example of the whole independent artist, how flip floppy that can be. Because you could
yeah,
one day have it all, and then the next day it just like
mhm,
vanishes. There's no backup for you really other than your fans. So
yeah,
seeing him after all that pain and strife to come back with like a solid project, that definitely
mhm,
not one of my favorites of the year, but really, really solid. Like made me
yeah,
happy. There's the new Mob Deep album, which I didn't even know
mm,
was coming out. Honestly, I don't know how
mhm,
that one slipped past my radar, but again, Alchemist had a good hand in that one. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
um I think Havoc did great with what he could, because they took Prodigy's verses that his estate had and what was left
mhm,
over,
mhm,
combine that into a really solid posthumous album. Anytime you can create a posthumous album that sounds tasteful is
yeah,
incredible to me. That's why shout
yeah,
out to Mac Miller's team. Of course, the Balloonerism
yeah,
album, still
yeah,
really solid.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
another one I want to shout out is the Rich Brian album, Where Is
Okay,
My Head? That's also another artist that for years I didn't hear anything about. Came
mhm,
back. Again, you sacrifice some audience, you sacrifice some exposure, but you get more creative, you expand your musical palette, and you make
mhm.
like a nice album for your actual core fans. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I caught that.
Yeah.
When was that released?
That was August, late August. That was again
Yeah.
during
Oh,
the
okay.
JID month, the
Mm,
Chance month,
mhm,
the Clips
mhm.
time. Yeah, it's tough. There's
It's
a lot of music
crazy.
that came out.
Yeah, I definitely missed some stuff for sure, and I don't recall hearing that
Oh,
project, so
it
I'll have to go
made
back.
no noise. It was crickets for it. I don't
Okay.
It's sad, man, because again, these
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
big artists that went back in the day were like talked about on every
Mhm.
outlet, but everyone has an expiry date, I guess. But I would definitely
Yeah.
recommend that project to people.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's been I'll have to check it out, but it's been such a funny year
Hmm.
because you have all these great hip hop, and we already mentioned Justin Bieber, like dormant for so long, decides to drop out of nowhere. Like, I'm not saying that it was great stuff. I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was okay.
Yeah.
And then you have like Taylor Swift as well. Like,
Yeah.
so it felt like at the beginning of the year that it was going to be the year of like mostly smaller artists that were going to take over. But then you have kind of the last half just blew up, and we had a ton of kind of some of these big time names drop some stuff. Sabrina Carpenter also dropped her second album. So it's like, it's just been a really strange year to me. And I don't know how to like process it.
Yeah, it's just, it's overwhelming at one point. That's why I was just talking to a friend last night about it. He was asking me like, oh, since because of like What's the Buzz, do you feel it pressure to like listen to everything? Do you find less enjoyment in music? I still just listen to what I want to listen to, because that's why I can't force myself into anything. Like, unless I'm going on like a flight and I have a few hours to really like dive into something. But outside of this, like, why would I force myself to things that just to hear it because it's out? The only album I did force myself to listen to this year was actually the Taylor Swift album.
Okay,
bro.
give us your takes on it. Come on, we got to hear it.
Rap Boy's gonna talk about Taylor Swift for 2 minutes.
We need it.
This is the most soulless, derivative, unnecessary music I've ever heard. I understand what it's popular. You kind of have to have the bar. You have to have like the average. I guess this is the average, but I just don't understand what people gain from it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I thought it was very come and go. It was offensive lyrically at points where it was just so not self-aware, I feel. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera so much. I think I'm just angry right now. But yeah, definitely like one of my least favorite listens ever of the decade, I guess. Because it's not obviously not like atrociously bad. It's well groomed and produced, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I think it's unnecessary, like void music. That's what I'm gonna call it. And I think I described it akin to plain yogurt.
Yeah,
take that as you will.
yeah. Some people love plain yogurt.
Sure, man. Hey, it's a great base for a smoothie. It's a great base for something actually good. But if you're just gonna eat it straight, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Glass of water.
Yeah, totally. That's so interesting that and like it is. I get it. Why, she's a huge artist. There was so much buzz around this new album dropping. That's right, so much buzz. you had to represent. So there was like a lot of expectation, especially all the stuff going around like, oh, she's going back with Shellback and Max Martin, and it was just like production is going to be different, it's going to be better, because I think a lot of the stuff was like she's getting tired like with her previous albums, right? Like it was like, but anyway, it was so
that's
bland.
What I don't understand how an artist of, and I'm not just saying just Taylor Swift, I'm not singling her out, but there's a lot of artists. I mean, Drake is kind of like in hip hop adjacent, I guess, for Taylor Swift. You have all the money, all the everything, every resource in the world. How is the music not like good, or not at least stand out past the first week of release? That's what I don't get. I honestly haven't even been seeing a lot of people talk about this Taylor album past the first week. It sold like 1 million copies the first 2 days or something like that. But it's been dead ever since then, I think, or like silent at least, other than a single or two. So I'll never understand it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like there was a point where she would be heralded as like, one of the best songwriters of this generation, right? And I just feel like, I don't know if it's just her pandering too much to her fan base, like her really intense fan base. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, lyrically, she's just like what she was known for lyrically, storytelling. It's like, it's getting brutal. It's just like, what is this garbage?
Yeah, I think it's at some point you just lose touch with that, because if your lifestyle isn't reflecting that anymore, you can't have someone drag that out of you if it's not in you anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I would say the same thing with Drake. Like Drake had some great records. And it's like what, the last 10 years maybe? I don't know, maybe 10 years is too much. The last 5 years at least like has been kind of rough for him.
Yeah. It's just as soon as an artist loses all relatability, that was kind of like my thing with Tyler the Creator's music throughout the last couple like releases. Like I understand where the Igor album was coming from. That
Mhm.
was like a kind of concept album. Uh, but with the Call Me If You Get Lost, I thought that was really good production, rapping, everything, but super unrelatable. So it kind of
Mhm.
loses that flair for me. And I think with
Mhm.
Drake, that instantly evaporated. Like you could still have
Mm.
some really well written tracks, really like
Yeah.
bangers, obviously. Like
Mhm.
he has some great producers around him, but in terms of relatability, it just evaporated. And nowadays, I don't know what Drake could put out. Like actually, there's
Mm.
some stuff I know on his For All the Dogs album, Away From Home. It's like one of the last tracks on the album, one of the least streamed songs on the album, where he gets back into that like almost storytelling from Toronto and adjacent
Mm.
areas, which is super
Yeah.
familiar, but you can bring it back for one song, man. That's not enough to
Mm.
like save the album, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and he's slated to drop at some point, right? I don't know
Drake?
if it's yeah, I don't know if it's gonna
Oh,
happen, but
the Iceman stuff. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that.
Iceman.
Hey, that'd be
So
interesting because that's surprisingly Drake's comeback album. Like he needs a good album, which is weird to say because he's the
mhm,
biggest rapper.
yeah.
It's that's gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, it will be. I obviously he he would have held off to avoid Taylor Swift, like, you know what I mean, dropping around the same time.
Yeah,
But rumors were that he was gonna drop in like early October or something. But
that is his
at least
month, but
yeah, he still could salvage a late October drop, but he hasn't started a rollout by any means, so
yeah, not really.
I don't know.
He had a couple
Um,
singles that I don't think. I mean, they're getting numbers, but I don't think they
yeah.
were that well received.
Mm-mm. No, definitely not. Definitely not. And like his whole like I guess he released an album with
Yeah, Party Next
shoot,
Door.
Party Next Door, but that was not it. That was not it.
I can't believe I forgot about it. Like we were talking about weak albums from big artists earlier.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that one. Just
Yeah.
I think I just give that one a pass because I've been on record before. That Nokia song is really really good. Like
Yeah, it
so,
is.
if you
That's a
have
banger.
one
That's a
really
banger.
really good song,
Yeah.
like I'll let it slide.
It's true, it's true, and, it kind of feels more like a Party Next Door album than a
Yeah,
Drake
yeah,
album anyway, so, like, I don't know, you kinda give him a pass maybe in that
yeah.
respect, but, um, is there anything still left for 2025 for you that you're, like, thinking of?
I was looking earlier. I think honestly, the main one I'm looking forward to is this new Danny Brown album,
Mm, yeah,
Stardust. He's turned his life around past the age of 40, which is just beautiful. It's amazing.
yeah,
Like he's sober now. And if
mhm,
all Danny Brown fans know how ridiculous that would sound like 10 plus years ago that Danny Brown is
mhm,
sober. So that's
yeah,
I'm incredibly happy for him and he just looks so much healthier and happier.
mhm,
And he's collaborating with a lot of artists from the I guess I know this genre term is kind of outdated, but hyper pop. Like he's delving with a lot of those people. I know
mhm,
he's gonna work with Jane Remover. He's gonna
mhm,
he worked with Underscore. Like with a lot of artists that you wouldn't expect it, but it makes total sense.
yeah,
And I've heard
yeah,
the few singles he's dropped so far. I think they're really fun. So
yeah, yeah,
I think that
mhm,
album might be another bounce back for Danny Brown
yeah, absolutely, and he, like yeah, he's put out some great stuff.
for sure.
He's kind of like an underground legend, even though like, can you call him underground anymore at
Right.
this point? But yeah, he's got a classic for
At
sure.
least one, yeah, at least
Yeah,
one. The Atrocity Exhibition, that's for sure his
yeah,
best one, yeah.
and then he's got his Scaring the Hose with
Yeah,
JPEG, which critically was like that was like every music critic's dream when that
yeah,
dropped. Everybody was like salivating at that album.
yeah,
So, which it was great, but yeah, it's he's he's definitely one of the people that I like kind of watch the most because I really like his style, really love kind of what he brings.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited for that one as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think he's one of those artists that can't really do anything wrong. It's just a
Hmm.
matter of like locking in for a full album. His last album, Quaranta, was, I think it was really mellow, really
Yeah.
quiet, really
Hmm.
sad too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think as an album, it doesn't stick around because it didn't really
Hmm.
stand out sonically as much. So this one could be crazy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, the singles are already sounding great.
Hmm.
Are there any people that you're like surprised that didn't drop? And like, I don't really
Hmm.
want to hear much about ASAP Rocky because are we really surprised
Right,
at this point?
right.
But
That's true. Yeah, that's something I've lost hope for Rocky at this point.
yeah,
Um, the thing is, what I'm most worried about, not to dwell on Rocky too much, but
yeah,
I'm most worried because he's definitely has like an album locked and loaded. But the
yeah,
longer he waits, the more dated that music is gonna sound. And
mm,
if it's from music from a couple years ago, that's already like not gonna
yeah,
age great. So
yeah.
the longer he holds, the more new stuff he's gonna have to make to kind of like fill in. And I don't know, it might not be the greatest release.
What do you think goes into the reason why artists hold on to stuff like that?
Um, Probably labels and like money
Yeah,
and business. I think
sure.
Rocky's name isn't necessarily the hottest right now, or
Mm,
probably the lowest it's been in his career. Like I'm sure
yeah,
he still has successful outlets. I know he had the movie with Denzel Washington, which is so random, but
yeah.
that's fine. But in terms of his actual like his single performance wasn't doing that great last year.
Hmm.
He dropped a couple. Um, I honestly think that's it. I don't think it's creative issues at all.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Rocky has had an album ready to go.
Mm,
So it's mostly just like the label waiting for the right moment, pushing it back, delaying it. But I don't know. I feel like there was enough hype for this album when it first got
yeah.
announced 3 years
Yeah.
ago. So
Yeah. Totally.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Oof, brutal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So is there anybody else that you're kind of like wondering what happened or thought maybe they would drop and
Hmm. Who didn't drop this year? Um, I mean, people were hoping for like a GNX Deluxe from Kendrick. I
mm,
always thought that was kind of not happening because that album was as compact as it could be
yeah.
for that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you had Tyler drop the Clips thing. That Clips thing just
Yeah.
fulfilled everything I needed.
Yeah. You
Um,
you're not missing anything at
yeah,
this
I'm
point.
pretty grateful. I mean, there was a while people were wondering if the Ty Dolla Sign and Kanye like collab album was gonna come out again, like the third one, I think, the Vultures 3. Not
Man.
didn't
We
happen.
don't we don't want that.
No, we didn't want the first one. So what
I
the hell is happening?
know.
And then Ty Dolla Sign did just release an album that I think had a lot of songs from those sessions like reworked,
Mm,
and
okay.
it sounds as big of a mess as you could imagine. Like
Mm, mhm.
it's not focused at all.
Yeah, yeah, man. Oh, it's crazy. Um, one album that we totally forgot about that was like uh probably an artist's worst project is Music by Playboi Carti.
Ah, wow, that was this year. That's crazy. This year's
Yeah,
long,
isn't that
man.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I thought that album was it's exactly what I would assume Cardi would drop in this year. An overly bloated, loud album, basically.
mhm.
Um, I think if you trim down to the 10 best songs, you can have a pretty solid project, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has the same disease that a lot of modern rap albums have, is just overly bloated. And people
Yeah.
say it's like, oh, they're putting a lot of songs for a lot of streams and stuff. But then you look at like, for example, the new Tame Impala album, that's a huge
Mhm.
artist who they would want to pack his album with a bunch of tracks, but it only has
Yeah.
12. It's only like maybe an hour long, not even. So
Yeah. Mm.
I don't know what the excuse is.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I don't know. It was just not like it was just so forgettable. So
Yeah.
forgettable. And even yeah, even upon first listen I was like getting bored. I was like, is this over yet? How many more tracks do I have left to listen to? Like
Yeah.
it was just one of those projects that you're just like, ugh.
I remember when a whole lot of Red came out. That was this Christmas Day 2020, which is the most
Mm.
cursed release date for a vampire to release an album, obviously.
Yeah.
But that album was really long too, but it still kind of, for me at least, was a pretty smooth listen throughout. But
Yeah.
this one was just like you know, when you're looking at the time, when you start skipping through tracks where it's like
Yeah.
overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm such a rule follower or like perfectionist maybe that like I just can't get like I would rather just stop the whole album than
Right.
skip a track. You know, like
Fair
I'm
enough.
just
Yeah.
like so that listen was painful because I knew I needed to listen to the whole thing and I was like I can't skip this and I was like
Yeah.
oh anyway I was oh yeah you talked about Tame Impala are
Yeah.
you is that something you listen to is that something you're into?
I dabble in the all the previous albums to some
Mm-hmm.
extent. I thought obviously there's great music. Never not like a diehard fan. I
Sure.
tapped into this album. Uh, I enjoyed the first few songs, and then I kind of got lost in it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really resonate with me. So I did kind of cut it off halfway through.
Yeah.
I'm seeing based on scores that this might be like a disappointment album for his fans.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think
Okay,
that's kind of what it's shaping up to be. I have a couple like friends that are just like total diehard fans, and like they're trying to justify, like you know what I mean. Like when diehard fans, when an artist drops an album and it's not living up to what they expected,
sure.
they go through the levels of grief, and like one of them is denial, where they're
Yeah,
like, or justification. They're trying to justify, or they're trying to say it really wasn't that bad. Like it, you know, like
it'll grow
if
on
this
you.
album
Yeah.
yeah it'll grow on you if this album was released by anybody else it would be a great album
Oh my
like you know what I
god.
mean like those typical responses so you know that when I hear people especially the diehard fans like talking that way I'm like if you're thinking this then absolutely like the mainstream is probably like this is a
Right.
mid album like this
Yeah,
is
that's kind of the response I saw for the Taylor Swift stuff. I even saw some
yeah
fans be like, "Yeah, it might be over.
it might be
It might
over
be over."
yeah hey now that Taylor Swift doesn't have any breakups to write about you know that's the
Yeah,
thing. That's the
crazy.
undoing. Her undoing. Happy
To
Taylor Swift is her undoing.
to Swift a butterfly coming soon.
To Swift and Butterfly. Yeah, man. Oh gosh. Yeah. Tame was to me. I listened to it. I'm not a huge fan, like you said, but I
Right.
do dabble in his stuff probably a little bit more. But yeah, I wasn't vibing with it. He went like super house with this, and it was just kind of like, nah. I
Yeah,
don't
not
know
the
if this
sound. I
is what.
mean, the Currents album was cool for being
Mm,
kind of psychedelic and trippy and
yeah.
different for its time, but I
Yeah.
think that album influenced so much of what came out after it that
Mm-hmm.
he had to switch up his sound, like and the Slow
Yeah.
Rush, like the 2020 album. I think he had to really switch it up, or maybe just got bored of his usual
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah. It's hard
I
to say.
mean, whatever. Like,
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Um, one thing that I'd like to do, and I started doing this after we did our first episode.
okay,
So you haven't done this yet on the show,
ooh,
but I'd like to hear, for one, your 5 must listen albums.
okay, 5 must listen albums. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, this is just I think these ones they're not necessarily my favorites of all time, but I would just
Mm-hmm.
recommend it to people for specific reasons. I mean, this first one is one of my favorites of all time, specifically Gorillaz Demon Days. That's the
Mm,
one I go to recommend people wanting to just get into music. I think that's such a good root album for so many different genres, from pop to rap to some dance and house stuff to
mm,
some alt rock stuff even. Like there's so
yeah.
much on that project to love, and it's done so futuristically. I believe that album came out in 2005, so 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
And then it still sounds so fresh. It still sounds so
Yeah.
innovative for today's time too. That's
Totally.
definitely one. Um, just because I saw him last night, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib's Pinata. I think
Mm,
that's a absolutely essential gangster rap album that has such a beautiful touch of artistry to it, specifically because of the production, because of Madlib's production and those sample chops. He was on some shit. That whole album, I don't know what the hell was happening, but
mm,
not a single miss on that album. One of the
yeah.
best rap albums, period. Um, Another one of my favorites ever is Outkast's Aquemini.
Mm,
Just I think Outkast in general has such a incredible way of blending real life issues, real life stories into very like bar heavy verses, but they're not like difficult to get through. And their performance is so captivating every time. There's a lot of modern or current rappers they're good storytellers. They're good like they're talking about deep things, but they don't really grab me. But I think Outkast, specifically Big Boy and Andre as a duo, they bounce off each other really well, and just it's always an entertaining listen. But Aquemini specifically over other albums, just because I love the production. It's much more smooth and jazzy. It's less punchy on this album than their other stuff. So
yeah,
love that album to death. And a recent one I've been championing a lot on my pages is Mac Miller's Good AM. Recently 10-year anniversary of this album.
That's crazy that it's been 10 years.
Crazy. And that's one that clicked for me on day one, and it still clicks for me. Just such a human album, such a relatable in a way, where Mac's usually known for more like maybe like rapping more abstractly, more complicated, but this one's he took it very blunt, very honest, and just shows kind of like the pitfalls of being like a addict, a stressed person, just how quickly life can kind of slip out of your the concept of the album being how time flies and kind of slips out of your hands. Just crazy album, and obviously in retrospect of his passing, it hits hard.
Yeah, it does.
And my fifth one, Jay-Z's 444. That's a album I rediscovered this summer. Something with it really clicked. I think the older I get, or the older anyone gets, they should re-tap into it, because it's an interesting album where someone of his stature, of his like legend status in rap, business, whatever the hell, bank account status, he's still very aware of the flaws he's made in his life, aware of the mistakes, and not even just like correcting them, but just kind of accepting them. And that's crazy to me to hear from someone as successful as Jay-Z, because us that are much less successful, we could all relate to being like flawed in whatever way, but you still kind of have to keep pushing. You can't let that really drown you. I think that's like such a mature album, and a very like almost like comforting listen, weirdly enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's my 5.
I like that. Yeah, I don't hear when people talk about Jay-Z, 444 isn't necessarily the one that comes up all the time, but I appreciate that take.
That's my favorite Jay album. I like his other stuff too. I love the Black Album, love the Blueprint, but 444 is something about it. Really clicks.
I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. What about an artist Mount Rushmore? Your four top artists.
Okay. So I'm taking this differently. Again, not necessarily my top 4 artists of all time, but in terms of importance to me and like what I like to listen to, I gotta put Outkast as one. Put half of Andre's face, half of Big Boy's face. Push them together. I hate when people separate them, because literally one wouldn't exist without the other. And the reason why Outkast is so good is the contrast between the two. So you really can't do that. I have to put Kanye as one of them, Kanye West, just because discography wise, I still think up until a certain point, he has he has the most immaculate rap discography, super influential, obviously. Another half head I'm doing is gonna be weird. You're gonna be like, the fuck? Lennon McCartney. I think they are literally the reason why pop music is the way it is nowadays, especially like songwriting wise. I think they've influenced the hook, the chorus so much that you kind of like, everyone copies that blueprint nowadays, though. Like everyone wants to have the earworm lyrics and just like the melodies in it. I think obviously the Beatles were like some of the greatest musicians ever, but specifically the writing duo that were those two. I mean, and then my fourth, I was split between this one, but I'm gonna go with Lil Wayne. I think I know discography wise spotty, but influence wise, I mean, you wouldn't have an entire generation of artists if it wasn't for Lil Wayne. Specifically 2010 onwards, it'd be a different story. So I think influence, that's my influence Mount Rushmore, I think.
Okay. I love
fucked up. There's like 6 people on it. It's all good.
Hey, I appreciate the splits. That, you know, that especially Outkast makes sense, and so does McCartney and Lennon.
Yeah.
Like that's they you can't really separate them. When you talk about the influence of the Beatles and stuff like that. So yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, we have been going for almost an hour here, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. It's been a great chat.
Yeah.
Just kind of catching up on some huge releases, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming back on.
Yeah, dude, appreciate it. Thanks for having me yap for an hour.
Hey, no, it's so much fun. It's my pleasure. I love it. Yeah, so guests out there or listeners out there, just tune in next week. We're gonna have a new episode and a new guest.